happened. 40 points, 20 rebounds against the Grizzlies without playing in the fourth quarter. And this was despite nursing a little shoulder injury going into the night. So, Richard, is AD your early MVP pick?
No. And the reason why is because I think him and Bron will split votes, right? You have to be the singular guy on your team. We haven't seen an MVP maybe since Bron was in Miami, where he had other
Steph Curry played on a team with other All-Stars.
Who?
And
Draymond Green was a defensive guy and a facilitator.
One defensive player of the year,
yeah,
one of the years that Steph won MVP, no? Am I mixing up my years on when Draymond won defensive player of the year?
I think it was after the MVP.
Was the second year after the MVP?
I just think that they're going to give a little bit of
He was the
credit.
runner-up.
Right, Klay Thompson.
My point is that he had another guy on his team who was the runner-up defensive player of the year. He had Klay
You can
Thompson
have
on his
other
team.
guys on your team. I'm just saying that LeBron James, whatever number, 25, this and that, he's going to get some votes. Anthony Davis is going to get a lot of votes, I believe. But you typically, even when Steph was unanimous MVP, he broke every single record.
Right.
They had the best record in NBA history.
Year.
It was extraordinary. Klay Thompson was breaking records, but at no point in time since the day those guys showed up has it ever been anything other than Klay Thompson's team. And that's why I think Steph Curry's team, thank you. It was never Klay Thompson's team. And so that's really what I feel like could stop him from winning an MVP, is that he has LeBron James on his side.
Well, here's a short version of why he could put himself in the conversation outside of averaging 29, 13, and 3 so far. Last night was a big step forward in his career because he is acutely aware of his reputation of being injury prone. Mm-hmm. And his first 4 years in the league, he averaged 17 missed games per year. Now, after that, he got better, 75 games straight. And then last year missed a chunk of games, not because of injury.
Nothing to do with injuries.
But even if it's old in reality, Richard, one of my favorite quotes you told me years ago, perception is reality. And people still attach that injury-prone title to him. And so he fought through this shoulder tightness. He went out and didn't just have a good game. It didn't just help his team get going. We talk about 50, 40, 90 for a season. He created a new statistical category, 40, 20, 30.
Right.
40 points, 20 rebounds, 30 minutes. The least amount of minutes ever to put up those numbers. It's unreal what he was able to do. And LeBron James, whenever he's asked about him, is propping him up.
Yeah.
This isn't like LeBron kind of embracing him every once in a while but then still getting his. It is. We asked about him last night. He goes, he's just scratching the surface.
Did you know that Anthony Davis is going to be technically a free agent this summer?
LeBron
James also knows that. LeBron James also, by the way, look, obviously everyone around the Lakers wants Anthony Davis to be as happy and comfortable as possible. But LeBron also wants to he is ready at this point in his career. He's turning 35 in December to make Anthony Davis the guy. It is a comfortable passing of the torch where even maybe 2 years ago, LeBron was not ready to do that in the same way. And Richard, he's had great teammates. You played with him and Kyrie together. He played with Dwayne Wade. Where do you rank Anthony Davis as sort of skill level of teammate at the moment that they played together?
He is the best teammate he has ever had. This is no disrespect to D. Wade. Kyrie Irving is probably a better scorer to me, right? What he can do. Anthony Davis can win Defensive Player of the Year, right? So he could be that guy. And then he also can go and give you 40 and 20. So when you can do all of those things on both ends of the floor, you can be the most dominant guy on one end, and you can be one of the most dominant guys on the other end. And then that's not a knock on D-Wade. Blocks, steals, all that stuff. But at no point in time was D-Wade ever in consideration, in my opinion, for the best defensive player in the league, right? Anthony Davis can do all of those things. And so if you look at that, he's never had a more complete player. Now, Anthony Davis still has to prove some things in the clutch like D-Wade did, like Kyrie did, but he's never played with a player this talented.
And seeing their rapport is something to behold. I mean, their lockers are next to one another in the locker room. You see them kind of whispering to one another on the court and also after the game. I think they get their messaging on the same page before they address the media. And then their personalities match with one another. LeBron James is allowed to kind of be this boisterous, outgoing, effervescent character. foiled against Anthony Davis, who's so even keel. And I think that's good for their teammates, where they can respond even better to that energy from LeBron because they have the constant energy of Anthony Davis.
Right. And look, I think they're legitimately close off the court, right? We've seen Anthony Davis at LeBron's house for Taco Tuesday, so clearly there's, friendship there.
I've never been there.
So we see where Richard ranks.
Friends with you, Richard.
No one's friends with you. It's hard to just be around me.
There we go.
Yeah,
In fact, Dave is going to move. We're going to move the table, and Dave's going to put that over there later. I want to stick with the Lakers because I do want to get to Kyle Kuzma also. This is your beat. So what is the latest on Kuzma's status?
The Lakers varsity team is off today, so he's going down to the JV to get a practice with the South Bay Lakers of the G League, which is certainly a good development. Everything's been going right for him the last several weeks. He went from 4-on-4 no contact to 4-on-4 contact. He's going through full-on sweat drills, sprinting up and down the court. You assume with that G League team he will get 5-on-5 full contact, and he's going to be accompanying the Lakers on this road trip. Frank Vogel said it's a possibility he plays on it. They have Dallas, then San Antonio, then Chicago. I'm not anticipating him playing in Dallas, but the next two games I think is certainly a possibility.
Richard, he keeps saying when people talk to him about his recovery, he says, I've been working on this summer and into this recovery the things that the Lakers need. He's like, I'm ready to fill sort of those holes that are there. What do you see him doing in that respect?
Well, I just want to see his percentages from three go up, right? I think he's been a volume scorer. When they were a young team and they were like, we need people to score, and he was one of the guys that can kind of shoot and do a lot of things, could run the floor, could finish. So I think in this space, he's going to get a ton of open shots. If he shoots 35, 37, we're not even talking about in the 40s. If he shoots 37% from three with all the shots now that Anthony Davis is going to create from a double, with all the bigs that they have down there and just the problems on the offensive glass and the offensive rebounds, you get the kick out. LeBron James, what he does in the pick and roll. If he shoots 38% from three and you combine that with all of his other abilities with Anthony Davis and with LeBron James, now we're talking about a team that is in a position to win a lot of games and win a championship if they can get past the Clippers.
He's also got to be tenacious on the defensive side, too. To me, when he talks about filling in holes, that's something where if they can get really strong D at that position, then it's going to make a difference.
And some playmaking, I think. Late in the regular season last year, obviously those games didn't matter, but he was working on his playmaking. And I think you're going to see him playing a lot of being the primary playmaker with the second unit,
right,
and then being a part of the closing unit for this group. And so I'm with you. If he doesn't bring the defensive end, then
the defense part, I'm not saying he's limited by any means, but look at the position that he would have to guard defensively, right? Like the position, if you're going to say the three, because you're going to, if Bron is going to guard like a small, like a 3 and D guy, right? Then that means he's going to have to be guarding the Giannis's, you're not going to put him on a James Harden because you got Bradley, you have KCP, you have guys, Danny Green, you have guys that can play those defensive spots. So defensively, it'd be more team defense. So if he does those things, yes, but I don't think he's going to step up and be like this elite defender all of a sudden.
I mean, look, Danny Green obviously has a lot of experience defending the James Hardens of the world. Avery Bradley hasn't shown those numbers since he left Boston, basically. Yeah. We'll have to see if he can step into that position. I think they'd like to see some of it from Kuz, though. Wouldn't hurt.
Team defense is as important as individual defense.
We'd mentioned at the top of the show that Trae Young went down with a right ankle sprain in the second quarter against the Heat last night. Now, at this time, the Hawks are listing him as day-to-day. There's optimism he can return early next week. Didn't even need an MRI today, so looked worse than it has turned out to be, which is great news. But still, Richard, do you trust the Hawks to stay afloat for these few games while Trae recovers? Because he was such a focal point of their team in these early going.
No, I don't trust them because they haven't shown me anything that the reason why they got Trae Young is because they weren't a very good team and they got a high draft pick. And Trae Young has been great, played 81 games for them last year. So he's shown health and everything that they do is built around him, right? We saw what happened with the Lakers and all of their talent once LeBron James and Rondo went out. So yeah, you're going to have injury. Hopefully this is only like a week and he can get back. But he was a conference player of the week. Yeah. So he's doing everything for him. Scores, assists. They still have talent on their team. I just don't see them playing 3-2 over 5 games without him.
Yeah, it might not be like 5 games. Yeah. Look at the schedule. It's kind of soft in terms of actually the amount of games they have coming up. I think there's only one game in the next 6 days or something like that.
They'll be fine.
So they'll be fine. And then you still have guys like John Collins who's coming in through his own, Herter who we all like, and and Lloyd Pierce gets those guys to play hard.
Right. Yeah. They do face the Heat again. It was interesting to see in the first quarter and a half last night while he was playing, Spoelstra sent a double anytime he touched the ball. There was no more room for him in the same way, and he was still scoring. So obviously he knows how to handle it. But I think the attention he's going to get this season has already escalated from game 1 to game 3 or 4 that they were playing last.
We all need him back. We all want to watch him.
He's so fun.
He's awesome. Yeah.
He's so fun. One thing I really have liked about him, and we saw it when he had some trouble at Oklahoma, and then we saw it again when sort of he had some trouble at the beginning of his rookie season. He adjusts. He understands there's a learning curve. He is mature enough, right, to take things that are difficult and deal with them. We've seen players not able to do that when they come into the NBA. So just like this, as you mentioned, he was healthy all last season. Even if he has to adjust to this ankle as he comes back from it, I think he'll be just fine. Coming up, we're going to talk about Kawhi Leonard because he is sitting out tonight's game due to load management. Is this early in the season for the Clippers to start doing this? And did I mention it's a national TV game tonight and it's also on the road, which the NBA has policies against? But we have some news on that front, so stay tuned for that. First, though, here's also what the Jump recommends for today. Brian Windhorst has a column on how some teams are already looking to fill roster holes in this early going this season. Andre Iguodala, Kevin Love, 2 trade options several teams will be looking into. Check it out during the break, and we'll be right back.